outside of the Whare-tapa-wha. So we have these 4 walls, and now let's include a floor and then a roof. So with the floor, this is papatūnuku, or the earth, and it's very important that we connect with our earth, because once it's gone, we no longer exist. So different ways you can connect with the earth is literally just stepping out onto the grass, putting your feet in the sand, getting into the ocean, going for a walk in nature. A part of, I guess, wearing shoes these days is a lot of people aren't grounded. You've got that thick bit of rubber in between you and your planet, which helps you to not really realise or care how the Earth's energies affect us. So again, different ways of grounding and why you need this, or I feel you need this in your life to be a well-balanced person, is we want to operate as a whole, and we can have all 4 of these walls right, and but we still don't really have a purpose on this planet until we connect to it. This is probably a bit coming from my own energy and my own life experience, but once I made the connection with Mother Earth, I felt a greater need to change the world we live in, and that it had to start with me. So for me, it started with picking up rubbish. I've cleaned up a whole beach by myself before there was any of these challenges, and not only did it make me feel connected with Mother Earth, it also made me feel better knowing that, seeing all the plastic and rope all spread out throughout the beach, it actually made me cry. And I'd never really had that connection with the earth before, and so to clean that up, it's almost like the maintenance that we'd take care of clipping our toenails, or brushing our teeth. These are things that we maintain in order to not only for other people but also to feel better. So when we can connect with earth and do things, hug a tree. I remember this concept to me as a nightclub owner was absolutely stupid. However, when I hugged my first tree in Dunedin, wow, that tree I now call Tūmeke, and it's my tree. I go and connect with that tree whenever I'm in Dunedin, and it gives me strength. It really fills me up. So I think this is really important to include the earth in your well-being. This makes us a kaitiaki, or a guardian of our land, and this doesn't just it's not just to be adopted by a Māori perspective. All Indigenous cultures have tried to show us that working with our land is the way that it used to be and the way that it should be, and it's definitely the way forward out of what we've created here. So I really ask that you pay attention to your needs for this earth. Otherwise, you're no good floating up in space. Speaking of space, then we get to the concept of a roof. In the creation story, Māori creation story, this would be Rangiuaia, or the Sky Father, also known as the heavens. I guess for me personally, it's one thing to know that there are heavens or higher realms. I guess for what I've been taught by my ancestors is go straight to the boss. So this is the creator of everything. And ultimately we were here to experience and not only the pains and sorrows of day-to-day life, but also the elation of love and joy. And so connecting with that higher energy really helps you to realize you're special. It really helps you to know that you were given a gift and put on this planet for a reason. What are you going to do with it? What is that reason? How are you going to find it? And again, all this well-being thing is when you can create yourself into a well-balanced, defined human. What are you going to do with that being? Where do your talents lie? Where's your skill set? Where's your passion? I don't believe that our Creator really wanted us to experience all the pain and sadness and suffering and actually to have to live in that. I think that free will has, I guess, in the way of the world, like almost like a dog-eat-dog place where you got to get yours. or I think once I realised that I've got to give from me, and that creates a better experience than taking from others, it really helped me to define myself as a human and ask above for that divine guidance and what my purpose is. And so I really believe that when you have that connection to Source, you have a direction, you have a trust, because this trust has been put in you from the divine that you were here to do something. So what's that spark for you? It's really about finding that, and people who are always looking for purpose, I just ask them to go up, ask your angels or your guides or your spirits, or go direct to the boss. I guess Western sort of culture, even though Christianity is sort of Eastern anyway, sort of dictates that you need to get to Jesus in order to find God. I actually feel like that was a distorted view, and that Jesus was showing you that God lives in you, and he was, I guess, trying to lead by example. So if you can find that God source, or that creative energy inside yourself, what would you do? So yeah, that's definitely a thing. So we've just realised that there's a bit of a floor going on, and a roof to this whare. We've got our 4 walls strong. What's inside it? This is your spark, and I guess again finding what's your passion, what's your purpose. So I like to think of this as energy in motion. And so our puku, or our tummy, is that energy in motion. It's where we feel things. It's where we have those gut instincts. In Indigenous medicine, it's your biggest brain, and then followed closely by your heart, and then your head. And I guess in the Western culture, we've been taught that this is your only brain, and that this thing can stop you from getting what your brain tells you should get, or the ego tells you should get. And your stomach is something that you put food into. So very different ways of looking at things. And I think, again, once you know what's going on in your body, in your mind, in your heart, once you have that connection with above and connection with below, what are you going to do with this energy? What's your purpose? What's your place in the world? And how can you deliver that from a place of love for the greater good? Because we're not just in this for ourselves. And again, if we were, it becomes a pretty lonely planet. So these are all things to take into consideration when considering your holistic approach to your own life. So yeah, kia ora.